It was an incredible spectacle last night, that's for sure. A fantastic pre-match at the Dreamtime at the MCG, and for once we got a match that really lived up to the occasion. The thrilling finish, and Sam Durham being the hero in the end, and you could understand the frustrations of Damien Hardwick. But a one-point win to the Bombers. Yeah,
it was a great performance by Essendon, to be fair. I mean, they'd only kicked, 6 goals up until midway through the last quarter, and they kicked 4 of the last 5 to really snatch victory. And it was a great effort. That was well coached. It was a good plan. But I want to give credit to their leader, Zach Merritt, because I think sometimes he gets a bit maligned. I think because of the way he plays and him as a leader. But without no Parrish, no Dylan Shield, no Will Setterfield, some of the stuff he did without the footy, this is all fourth quarter stuff. The work that he was doing without the footy, we know how well he uses the ball, one of the best kicks in the competition. But I just thought when they needed their leader to stand up, he was cool and calm in tight situations. His work rate and his leadership being there at the ground was first class. I mean, look at this tackle to run down Bolton, not give away the free kick. Next centre clearance, they go in. He wins the centre clearance. I just thought it was tremendous leadership. I thought it was a great gutsy performance by Essendon. It had been 13 games that they'd lost to Richmond consecutive, so they'd really set themselves for this challenge, and he deserves to get a mention because I thought it was a gutsy performance and led by him.
He was magnificent, wasn't he? And they had the plan, they stuck to it until the end, then they had to just go free style, and they got the points.
Just have a look at the last play, and everyone's probably looked at this in their own way, shape or form, but I just think when you're watching this, think of what Richmond leaders normally do. And they've lost so many close games. You know, the numbers are obvious, but this is Mason Redmond coming on and running to the fat side wing. Now, Richmond have got a spare man behind the ball, but the Richmond leaders elected to just let this happen. Mansell is the nominal matchup between two players. That's a bad situation for a young player. It needed someone of senior. If that's Trent Cotchin, this next play doesn't happen. OK, so the play rolls on. We've seen this clearance. We've seen the chase from Merritt, which was absolutely brilliant. We've seen Richmond want to go forward with the ball despite the fact they're outnumbered. We've seen Jack make a strange decision to knock the ball into free play, if you like. Now the game is at a speed you can't control. Now, poor Mansell, he's got a decision to make. Do I do what we've been told to do and roll up and pressure, knowing what it does to Redmond out the back, and then there's no support layer in behind. So now they're in real trouble. But this is really uncharacteristic of Richmond for me to be so disorganised behind the ball. If you look inside the Essendon forward 50, they've got an outnumber at the top of the goal square. Now, you just don't see that. So I was surprised by that. And then you see Broad. So Heppel does a great job and mark the ball here, OK, and takes his time and finds good targets and all those sorts of things. And they get a quality opportunity to bring the ball to a really dangerous spot. Now, the match-up head-to-head with Stringer, if you're going to leave him in that situation there, you have to defuse the problem. You can't be part of the muck of a slight outnumber at the contest, and we all know what happens from there. There's just way too many luxuries in 40 seconds of footy. And I know we talk a lot about losing close games and they're all line ball, but you would have hoped that Jack Riewoldt or Dustin Martin or Trent Cotchin would have said, hey, hang on. Or even Nick Vlaston, who's got a great view of the whole thing. Hey, I'll roll up. I'm just going to roll up. I know we want to have a spare behind the ball, but I think I've got to go and help Ryan Mansell in this situation. It just didn't happen. It's happened regularly. It's happened
a lot now. It's happened a lot in the last 2 years. They are losing all those close games. So it doesn't come down to luck. There's more to it. They're just things are happening every time they are playing in these close games. That no wonder Damien Hardwick's so frustrated because...
Well, you think back to previous to all their success, they had this happen then, didn't it? And then it really didn't during their time when they were so successful.
But I suppose another big facet for Richmond that needs to be addressed is their forward woes. I mean, going inside 50, it's been horrible for them all year. So they are 18th in the competition, Hutto, at scoring when the ball goes inside 50. So we're talking worse than the West Coast Eagles, worse than Hawthorn, North Melbourne. They can't score when they get it inside 50. So we used to praise Richmond for finding a way to scramble goals and the messy footy and all that, but it's not working. It's not working for them. I know they're missing Tom Lynch, but they've just got to be able to find a way. I mean, they had 60 entries again against Essendon. We know Essendon give you the luxury of getting entries. They just couldn't capitalise.
So it's the type of entry, though, isn't it?
That's right.
Because they're now becoming a better clearance team.
Yeah.
So they're getting the ball forward rather than that springboard off half-back at speed. Yeah. So it's a different type. So does it need a different type of setup forward of the ball?
I think they're going to have to they've tried a lot. I mean, no Tom Lynch, I get it, it's huge. But, I mean, Tom Lynch can't be around forever. Jack's trying hard. They've tried Marlon Pickett. They might need to look at other avenues. Is it maybe time that... I know Noel Bolter's doing a pretty good job, but do they need to fix their forward woes before they worry about...
Jack's playing even though Damon Howard says he probably shouldn't be.
Yeah, but it's just becoming a real issue now that's costing them wins.
I've had to get off, Hutto. I've had to get off the bus. Tiger train.
You're off?
I know. though.
I feel like really you're off.
I love what they were doing,
David.
and they've let themselves down in a game they had in their hands in safekeeping. But it's going to be tough from here.
Yeah, it makes the season much more difficult.